I continue to try to enlighten some aspects of Philip K. Dick's Exegesis, this book which contains mystical insights and profound truths. And I advise you, if you're interested, to read to watch my previous video, which contains the links to two videos that I made today on the channel Cultural Hegelianism about skepticism and about the vast active living intelligence system, the idea that there's only one mind of which we're all parts and which must become conscious of itself in order to have a full knowledge of itself. And these are ideas that we find in Philip K. Dick, and that I have made my own because my personal experience has confirmed parts of these truths. Yeah. He talks about Apollo, the Greek god, with his balanced wisdom, his clear healing harmony of opposites, his clear-headed self-knowledge and integrity. And I also made videos today and in a previous day explaining that the gods of European mythology, but of any mythology, but I am most familiar for now with European mythology, are modes or moments of the mind. They are psychological in both senses. They are psychological and logical aspects of the mind, and one can be enlightened and possessed by a divinity when one understands the proper ideas. And Apollo is the god of clarity and light and like he said, of balance and order and classical beauty also. He was the god of the sun, the builder of cities, of music and art and healing. And yeah, so that's kind of divinely funny to notice in this book references uh, to Greek mythology. And I don't know if Philip K. Dick really existed, because if I am true to his own system, I must presuppose that he did not exist. But whether he did exist or not, he was a very brilliant man. And to be honest, this is the man that I have loved the most, because he had an experience of God, of a God who did not know who he was, what he was, a questioning God, a self-seeking God, an inquiring God. And this is kind of reassuring, because it relieves a little bit of the pressure, because if even God himself doesn't know what he's doing, it leaves room for uncertainty and for I don't know, but there's something reassuring. It's quite frightening, because if God doesn't know what he's doing, we're in trouble. But at least I don't know how to explain it, but Philip K. Dick is a man that I have loved immensely, and unfortunately he's not among us anymore. Um, yeah. Then he mentions the theory of anamnesis, the idea that the purpose of our life, I guess, is to remember the forms, the ideas, to recollect. This is the pure core of reality, which is perceived within the soul through the activity of intellection or nous. And the purpose of being here is to, through a cognitive process, an intellectual understanding, an enlightenment of the self and the other, to recollect all the pieces of the one totality which have been broken and separated, and to reunite them. And to remember means to put all the members back together, and to grasp the interconnectedness of all the members of the divine totality, logic, nature, spirit, and within the realm of spirits of all the individual consciousnesses, to show them how they are interconnected to one another and how they are reciprocally determining one another. And yeah, so we find this idea. And then he quotes Virgil, the the Latin and Roman poet, for immanent mind, flowing through all its parts and leaving its mass, makes the universe work. So there's this idea that the universe is ruled by an immanent mind, a cosmic mind, and that when we have speculative experiences, we can become one with this immanent mind, and we are enlightened, and we become the light of the world by by spreading the knowledge that we have acquired by penetrating, even if it's abruptly and not very long lasting, but even in a moment, a glimpse of this total knowledge, to share it with others and to help them elevate themselves to the level of consciousness required to participate consciously into the life of this immanent mind. And Virgil then says, a new race descends from heaven on high, and the race of gold shall arrive throughout the world. Thine own Apollo is no king. And the way I understand it is that this one immanent mind illuminates itself, and in the philosophy of Hegel, it is spirit which awakens, or which unites itself cognitively, intellectually, with mirrors of himself, and which illuminates the totality of this spiritual entity that we call being, in the process of becoming conscious of itself. So yeah, he says that what Virgil calls the immanent mind transcends each individual possession. So I believe that what I identify as myself as an empirical individual is a kind of a mistake, and that my real self is the participation in the totality of the cosmic mind becoming conscious of itself, and my role is to help enlighten others and awaken others, so that this cosmic immanent, which is also transcendent in regard to the empirical self, that this one mind shall become conscious of itself. And this is probably what Hegel calls spirit. It is the total mind becoming conscious of itself. And we find expressions of this in the philosophy of Fichte, where the das Ich, the self, speaks as a cosmic mind, and it becomes conscious of itself. And my task, as if I want to be the light, I must enlighten the dark, and enlighten others, and enlighten myself, and illuminate the whole of reality with the tiny forces, the tiny strength of my individual soul. But the more I enlighten others, the more I will be enlightened reciprocally, and the more light will share, because hopefully, I don't know if it's true, but light is like love. The more we share, the more we have. I don't know if it's true, but hopefully. And yeah. He says that each of us is a piece of the universe, the cosmos. Each of us has inside him a spark of that universal mind. And I know that I have light within me, and that I must make the inner spark, the inner light contained within each piece of this universe shine, and so that we might illuminate one another. The god Apollo and such like would be links between the universal mind within and that in the cosmos around us. He would, so to speak, serve to ignite that spark within, so that it fused or took over the total mind. And this would be what possession by the god would more precisely be. And this is the myth of the prisoner who escaped from the cave and descended back into the cave to warn his fellow prisoners, his fellow slaves, that they were enslaved by delusions, and that they had to awaken themselves, and that there was the vision of the sun outside of the cave. That's a symbolic presentation of the same myth. And I know that my duty is to be the Apollinian light. I do not look like Apollo, but my mind in his best moment is Apollinian, and I must enlighten myself and others, and this process of self-illumination is the life of the absolute. Yeah. He says that this mental transformation is the radical combining of opposites. From then on, everything is understood in terms not of is it this or that, but both this and that. That's a speculative consideration. It's a thinking, a logical thinking which contains within itself opposites as in a reciprocal unity. It's a universal thinking, because the universal is that which is neither this nor that, while at the same time being this and that. So he unconsciously had a speculative experience, and true speculation consists in becoming one with your opposite, and making it your own, and abolishing the distinction and the difference between the self and the not self, and between the mind and the thought. Yeah. There is a small bit of the macrocosm inside us, inside the microcosm, and this small bit equals the whole universal mind. And when I had my God experience, I understood that my individual microcosm became one with the macrocosm, and then I fell back into my little self, and now I'm in a process of trying to reawaken the consciousness of the whole within me, and to let my inner light become one with the universal light, and to enlighten others. And yeah, the individual soul is different but identical with the world soul, or the microcosm with the macrocosm. Yeah. And I would like to I will stop there for now. I will continue tomorrow, because although I want to share, I need to keep a proper biological balance in order to be able to express my knowledge. So I need to sleep. But I will continue tomorrow, because this is enlightening, and this is very important. And the mystery of Philip K. Dick's experiences and existence is fascinating, and hopefully I will be able to solve the mystery, and to give to this brilliant mind the credit that he deserves, and that would be a great joy.